Cool. So today I'm going to try something a little bit different, and I'm going to do a product teardown of chess.com. So for those of you who don't know, chess.com's unsurprisingly, a chess website. It's done super well through the post-COVID chess boom, and there's also been like actually quite a major influencer-led chess boom recently, based off kind of TikTok and YouTube Short and Instagram Reel content. Turns out chess engages really well in that, and chess.com's been doing so well that a lot of the time their servers have burnt out, which is, in terms of good metrics, not for user experience, but in terms of flying and doing well, that's a pretty good one, right? So I thought it'd be a bit of fun to come at this with my product manager hat on. I'm going to ask the questions I do in my day job, like, okay, what's the hook? What's the value here? Why are people coming here? When they're here, how do we monetize that? How do we get money out of it? How do we get new users in? How do we build a ramp so those new users become paying users? And then anything else, any other thoughts or bits and pieces that have kind of I've seen and as I go through. Now, it's worth saying, I guess, that the hook for this is really obvious. Like, you come here to play chess, you're driven here by whatever reason, marketing, phone game, advertising, whatever, and you land and you play chess, and that experience is really easy to navigate. There's a big button that says play, you press the button that says play, and you're playing a game. And the matchmaking is really good. You're very rapidly paying people at your level. And actually, interestingly for me, that's one of the biggest differentiators between chess.com and Lead Chess, is that maybe it's my dyslexic brain, but it's really hard for me to tell what the new game button is on Lead Chess. And you can blame me for that. That's cool. So like the core experience is really, really good and really strong. Like it's a very, very solid chess website. So the big question then is, okay, Rob, you're spending, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours a day playing chess on this website. How are we extracting value from you? Well, the first one is pretty obvious, and it's even more obvious if you actually go into a game. It's absolutely littered with ads, and you can see that actually the ads are so impactful that they kind of take so long to load in that they actually impact the game experience. And so this is, I guess, the cool way they make money from free people, but it actually significantly impacts the free user experience. Now, you could argue that that's a driver. They've got buttons all over the place to remove the ads here and here and here, and I imagine that takes you to their tiers. Yeah, exactly. And this is kind of the premium options they offer. It's a typical SaaS model where like you have one that you want people to buy, and then you've got some other options if you can't pick them up. It's immediately interesting. I should say what the features are first, but really, alongside playing chess, it offers puzzles and lessons, which I'll go into in a bit, and bots for you to play against offline, and no ads is key. And then it's got this other interesting bits and pieces, which are the coach explanations. And I can actually go into a game review, and I can't do it here because I've used up my free game review for the day, but it will effectively take me through and tell me what I did well, tell me what I did badly, and let me improve in the live game. And that's a key learning tool in chess. You kind of get to similar positions a lot and you repeat it, so that's actually super high value. From a product perspective, the thing that jumps out is that like all that content's locked in your highest tier, right? So that either says to me that this is expensive to run, and so it is priced in that way, or the other tiers don't really do too much. So you find that basically you have one tier and everyone's buying this. Because normally, if we're brutally honest, like a SaaS pricing page would have, the most popular one tends to be in the middle, because you're price anchoring. If you think of a menu, you've got a cheap one, you've got the super most expensive, and people always pick the bottle of wine in the middle, right? Because you don't want to pick the cheapest and you don't want to pick the most expensive. So you think somewhere in the middle price is probably decent quality, but without breaking the bank. And it's interesting that this kind of page immediately, the first thing that jumps out is that goes against that. So I'd be looking at my kind of feature mix. You might just think, okay, well, I'm paying £4 to unlock ads a month. Do I like chess.com enough to give them £4 to unlock ads? I don't know. They do punish your paying experience, but they don't probably that much. So I'm not sure there's much value in that. The difference here is that you've got added game reviews, but without the coach telling you. So I would guess that the coach is kind of expensive to run in the background, just from a cost perspective, just to add that in. But realistically, because you're doing the game review and the coach explanations together here, I mean, here's the coach and this will be talking through the game. It's weird to me that they're breaking those two out and not treating them as one feature together. So I think really, if I was the product guy at chess.com, the biggest red flag for me at the minute is kind of this. I'd be trying to test different packages and pricing mixes and see if I can drive something else. So I guess the next big question really is user activation. So, okay, I've seen a little bit influencer content. I've Googled chess, and I've got chess.com because they own that domain name, which is, I mean, fantastic. I mean, that's free win if nothing else. How do you get me to stick around? And I'd argue that actually chess.com is pretty fantastic at this. They're learning, they've got a whole host of puzzles and learning resources, which when I was starting out in the pandemic, I spent a lot of time on, and I should spend more time on now, but I'm at home less because we can go outside again, I guess. And I think from an activation perspective, this, like, I don't know, really, it probably got me from the median, like 50% of players, to being in the top 20 to 10% of players. I don't know how ELO works. Basically just through like some grinding games, doing puzzles and learning on the site. So in terms of like user retention and activation, I think they kill it. I think the thing, again, to go back to the pricing and the feature mix in the payment thing, it's how do you get someone like me to pay? Because £10 is like a lot, right? It's like a Netflix subscription level of value, or like a decent bottle of wine, right? So why should I sacrifice Netflix for chess.com? And I'm not sure, if I'm honest, beyond if I'm just banging games out and I'm not reviewing and I'm not really bothered about the ads because I'm playing on the phone where they're less aggressive, it's difficult for me to see why I should pay. So I think there's a really interesting like monetization question at the root of this. Now I might be completely off the mark, but this I think the question I'd be asking, and from my personal experience using it, is that like, okay, we get a lot of users, our user retention's great because people love the game, our site's really good at letting people play the game, it's well populated, so there's lots of people to play the game with, there's learning tools, all the rest of it. What can we do around monetization? So I think like that's my key takeaway on this is, and if I was, again, put my hat on right at the beginning, if I was the product manager at chess.com, what would I be asking myself? I'll be asking myself, how do we activate people? How do we get people to pay? Because I feel like there's like a huge distribution of kind of free people. Maybe watching the ads, maybe the ads make you money, but I don't think I've ever clicked through on a chess.com ad. I don't know what the conversion rate is, but if they're anything like this, they're not very well targeted. I imagine the ROI is not the same as, I don't know, Google search, which is like a 1.3 at a baseline, all the way up to 5 to 10x in e-commerce. So, yeah, I think that would be the answer. How do we make money out of it? How do I make money out of it? How do I get people paying more money? Or any money, actually, is probably the question. Cool. So that's my little product dive into chess.com. It's a bit of an experiment, something new. So I hope if you do watch it, I hope you enjoyed it. And like any comments or shout outs are super useful. Nice.